I'll tell you one thing I wish the UN could intervene on, that's Blackout Bowen. Now, look, I know they don't have a great deal
they're best friends.
I know they don't have a great deal of power to do anything about it, but if someone could just tap him on the shoulder and say, look, mate, when you're overseas, it's not generally accepted that you give an acknowledgement of country. Now, Bowen's been over at COP28, the big climate blab fest in Dubai, of all places, of course, and he got up to give a speech yesterday. Now, this is an acknowledgement of country of sorts. It's a strange one. Why on earth did he do it?
Friends, I begin with an acknowledgement that at the heart of action on climate change must be profound respect for those who've cared for our respective lands for millennia, the Indigenous people across the world.
I mean, give me a spell. The idea is obviously so ingrained in his head now that he will adapt the acknowledgement of country for anywhere he is to fit the bill. Jacinta Price, one of the rising stars of politics, of course, called it out this morning.
That just demonstrates just this idea. It's just an automatic reaction. You know, you get up before you speak. This is what you automatically do. And I think he's forgotten that he wasn't in Australia at that point. I mean, it's lost any meaning if that's what you're doing now. You're going to other parts of the world and suddenly this pops up in your address.
I mean, I can't believe you didn't open the show with an acknowledgement this evening that, we would like to acknowledge our bosses here at Sky News who dutifully pay us to come and talk to you every single night. You know, we need an acknowledgement for everything, surely.
Chris Bowen took the acknowledgement of country to a whole new level. Normally it's an acknowledgement of Indigenous Australians. He acknowledged Indigenous people around the world. I mean, he covered everybody. But what does he mean when he says at the heart of climate policy
is really not sure.
Profound respect for Indigenous people? What does that even mean?
I'd love him to unpack it for us because I don't think he could. It's just a perfect word salad. Also, did he respect the indigeneity of the Sultan-like figure who was like, nah, this stuff's a pile of BS. We're not doing it. We're not in.
I tell you what I think it means, though. I think it means that they have this imagination where, you know, Indigenous people presided over this pristine paradise, and then Western civilization came along with all of its coal and smog and just ruined everything. And so the acknowledgement is almost an apology for Western civilization.
Sorry for the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, that lifted everyone out of poverty and expanded life.
Gosh, we really did a number on you guys. I had to love this headline in the Sydney Morning Herald today, which reads, "We will not sign our own death certificate. COP28 talks on the cusp of failure." Now, when I first saw this, I actually thought, I mean, talk about a girl can dream. I do. I actually thought this was Australia, the US and the UK saying, we're not going to sign our own death certificates by completely desecrating the source of our wealth, our power, the fact that we're the biggest exporters, importers, you name it, of fossil fuels. Not the biggest users, obviously, that's China and India. But no, instead, it is them banding together with a pile of much smaller, less wealthy, less successful countries saying this thing doesn't have enough teeth. And so we're not going to sign it until there's definite timelines in place and all the rest of it, because the amendments had removed the teeth. So they're like, well, this is just a death certificate now for these island nations. They're just going to die.